in Jackson. I'm a comedian, which y'all probably, well, in case y'all didn't know, I am. I'm Ned. I'm a radio host. I'm a father, brother, son, you know, all that corny stuff. But simple dude, Leo, Houston, Texas, born, right in the South Side. Grew up doing a lot of public speaking, writing poetry, and then as time went on, I always been a class clown as well. As time went on, comedy came calling and I answered the call. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I go through different stages. It just depends on how you catch me or how much liquor I've been drinking. But usually I'm direct, straight to the point. I always find some type of humor and stuff. Sometimes that's good and bad, but I'm a real thinker. I'm a big time thinker, so I'm real calculated like that. It made me who I am, I say. I'm Houston all day, every day. I make sure when I go out of town, I rep or whatever. My stuff is just universal. I watch so many different people, study so many different people, so my stuff be kind of different. But if you watch me, you won't say, oh, he's from Houston. My stuff is for everybody. I'm just honest. That's about me. I'm true with my stuff. All my stuff really happened. Either I saw it, I did it, or I saw somebody else do it and thought it'd be funny. And that's probably what makes me the most unique. And then I don't care. I do it. I used to have this joke where I don't use it no more, but I used to have this joke where halfway through it, I used to drop my pants on stage, and I had on like these tighty whitey drawers, and it got me some laughs. Like I said, I do anything for a laugh. That's back when I was like a cheap little prostitute comedian. Like do anything to get that laugh. But I do anything. I act out, movement, everything. So that's what makes me unique. I'm gonna make sure that you laughing one way or another. I do what I gotta do. If I gotta come sit next to you, if I gotta walk off on stage, let you think about why you didn't laugh and then come back, I do whatever it takes. I mean, movie comedy and actual stand-up comedy, it's a big difference. If you can excel at stand-up comedy, I can't even say, I'm about to say that you usually can be good doing movie comedy, but just because you're funny don't mean you can act. So that's a big difference in there. And then you turn around, you got these people who are funny on screen, but they can't really tell jokes. They're like Will Smith isn't a comedian. He's a on-screen funny, silly guy. Like when you just see him around, like he's funny, but he's not a comedian per se. So it's a big difference. And nowadays, I don't know what, comedy is like making a big comeback, which is great for me. But like I said, it's at the same time it's kind of like because you got so many people want to be comedians now, and then you got these internet comedians, and then you got these people who say, oh, I'll be making people laugh, and then you get on stage and you stink it up, and then you don't take that as an example that you should probably stop. You keep coming back and keep stinking it up because you don't know the art. So movie comedy or TV comedy, internet comedy, you can throw that into it. It's a real big difference because when you're on stage and you got them people in front of you, you just gotta go. And you might mess up, but you gotta go. TV and movies and internet, you can delete, you can reshoot, you can do all this other stuff. Now when you get out there on stage, you gotta go. And then if the lighting ain't right, you make a joke about the lighting and keep it moving. If there's somebody in the front row, you know, on the scene in a movie, it's quiet on the set, you don't make a joke about that. The person already had that wrote out for you. And that's another thing. You do have comedians who have writers, but it's different. But in a movie, you know, you're coming with a script. You might be, Kevin Hart does have input in stuff that he does on stage or in movies, but there's still a script given to him, so it's different. Well, it's the thing. The thing about the script with writers, people think that when you hear a person say, "Oh, that comedian has writers," you automatically like, "Oh, he don't write his own jokes." That's not necessarily the case. You take, for example, a guy like Kevin, who's like the biggest guy right now in comedy. He don't have time to do what I do. Like I can go to do stand up 5-6 nights a week. I can do it every day, and I can do 2 or 3. Sometimes I do 2 or 3 spots a night. But he don't have that opportunity. He gotta do movie premieres. He gotta go do All-Star Weekend. He gotta do all this other stuff. So what he'll have is his group of people that he's cool with, that his writers. He'll say, "Hey man," it'll start off with, "Man, let me tell you about this story. I'm thinking about turning it into a bit. Today, me and my daughter was at the swimming pool, and we got into the swimming pool, and I realized I didn't have my little flotation device, da da da." He'll say something small like that. He'll say what he thought is funny, and then one of his guys will be like, "Oh, if you add in whoop whoop whoop," then it turned out into that little one line that he was talking about that turned into a 5 to 10 minute joke. So that's what it is. It's really more people just kind of helping you or stretching your stuff out. There's nobody really. Well, they do have people that do that too. That come and hand you jokes and be like, use this joke, which that's kind of like fraudulent to me. But that's the difference between writers. I don't have a problem with people who have writers. Definitely, like I said, Kevin Hart, he don't have that opportunity to go and work out his stuff like that. Chris Rock in LA, they go to little spots and work out stuff like every 6 months. You know, that's hard for a comedian. A comedian got to get in that rhythm, hear how stuff go. But they professionals too, so they don't need as much practice. Who knows, if I get big enough, you know, I might. Nah, I can't see myself doing that. Nah. I always want to be the guy to write my own stuff. I always want to be in control of myself on stage and what I say and do. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I ain't never bombed. In 4 years, I've never bombed. I've seen a lot of different stuff. I've never had that happen. I've never had too many bad situations on stage. Usually, it's either really, really funny or it's funny enough. Now, for me, I know when to go. I know how to do that. I'll just be like, I got a few laughs. She laughed. Thank you. Yeah, God bless you. And I leave. I'm not one of them people that be trying to suck as many jokes out as possible. Like if I know the crowd, one time I was at a karaoke spot. It was a karaoke spot and we was doing comedy in between. All they cared about was doing karaoke. So I got up there, I'm telling my jokes. And once I seen them like talking and stuff, I just walked. I was like, well, all right, y'all, have a good night. God bless. Enjoy the karaoke. Woo! And I got off the stage. One time, I was performing at this other little spot, and I had the people in the front laugh. They was paying attention, but you had these other people laughing and talking in the back, doing other stuff. So I got my few little laughs from them. Got off stage. I never got booed. It really was by accident. My best friend, one of my best friends, said she wanted to do it, so I gassed her up, talking. I was like, "Yeah, girl, you funny. You the funniest person I know." Whoop whoop who's on the phone. She like, "Boy, F you lying." Blah, blah. Like, girl, you hilarious. I said, "If you do it, I'll do it." She's like, "All right." I remember that. She came back like a week later and was like, "Hey, the people want to meet with us." I was like, "What people?" She's like, "The comedy people." I was like, "You serious? Because you really ain't that funny. I was just playing with you." But we met up with them. At that time, I ain't had no jokes. I was just talking. We was having a good time. I was like, all right, we're going to do this little showcase in the hood. We started off at, this place don't even exist no more. It was my first time doing comedy. I was in a mobile building. That was my first time doing comedy. I did comedy there for like 5 or 6 times at the beginning. And I ain't know nothing. I ain't know about open mics and anything, but I got on stage. The first time I did 10 minutes. And I felt like the rush. I had never felt nothing like that before, ever. And I was like, whew. I got off stage and I was like real winded. I just remember being like, from there I was like, man, I want to keep doing it. I watched my video, my first video, probably like one of the worst comedies I ever seen in my life. Like when I go back and look at it, I'm like, man, that was trash if I critique it. But it had some good jokes. They just wasn't delivered good. Kept going, kept writing. When I first started off, I used to do 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes at a time, which is unheard of off the rip. It's hard to do that. You know, there's people who've been in the game 10 years and don't have a full 30 minutes. They could be able to just do 30 minutes. I used to do 30 minutes because, and it used to be brand new, because I used to watch comedy specials and I'm like, why he using the same jokes that he used at such and such? But then when I got into comedy, you realize that, for one, you keep using them because, for one, they still funny. If people still paying you to hear that, you keep doing it. But two, you have to get better. You have to keep saying it, because you say it over and over, eventually it might sound a little different when you add this twist in, add that. And then, shit, you ain't got time to be writing all that damn material. That's a lot of damn writing. You gonna need writers if you writing like that. That's how I started off, and that's what keep me going, just constantly getting better. It was good to go from this little mobile home to these big stages. So what I do is, every year I just grade that year. And I graded past what I did the year before that. I was like, oh my goodness, so this year I got to do some stages, some big time shows. The year after that, my third year, going into my third year, I did the Comedy Showcase, which is Houston's oldest comedy club. And I got to go out and do some comedy in New Orleans and Austin and stuff like that. So I graded there, like, wow, I got to travel. I got to do Houston's oldest comedy club. My fourth year came around, I guess that was my third year. Last year, it was, okay, did the Comedy Showcase, still ain't did the improv yet. And I ended up doing the improv twice last year, along with doing some shows at the Bamboo Lounge before they closed up, RIP Bamboo. And what else I did? I did Warehouse Live with Red Grant. The Warehouse Live with Red Grant, that was like, it was like I say, when you get to see people that you used to watch Comic View on BT, and he was like, oh shit. And he walked in and he was like, I'm thinking he gonna be extra goofy. He walked in and he was like, turn the fuck up. He was like, oh, hey, how you doing, Mr. Grant? Did I call you Red, Mr. Grant? And Rob Stapleton, another guy who I watch Bad Boys of Comedy, Comic View, and for him to come up to me and was like, bro, this shit was funny as hell. I was in the back, and you had the whole back just going crazy. I was like, appreciate it. So then we did, at the end of the year, I did House of Blues in December with Rudy Rush, who used to host Apollo, and he does 93.7 here in Houston, the radio station. So I graded that as like, oh, that's stuff I never did before. I hit all these stages. And then last year, in the beginning of December, I got asked to do a show out in Austin, and my room was paid for, and I got paid. I was like, ooh, man, it was a little sweet too. You don't know how big I felt. I was out of my body. I was just like, yeah. Now this year, I've already turned down like 3 or 4 shows. I'm being picky. I'm being selective. I don't want to be on every show if it's not quality all the way through. I don't want to sell you a ticket to a show and you be like, well, you was good, but I wasn't really feeling everybody else. You didn't get your money's worth, whether it was $1, $10, $100. If you didn't enjoy the whole thing, you didn't get your money's worth. We could have met at Sunside Park, and I could have put on a little show, made some wieners or some shit, and we could have did the deal. So I'm being more selective now, and that's because, like I say, every year is trying to do better. And going on into the future, that's why I'm trying to I don't know where I'm gonna end up. I don't necessarily have to be Kevin Hart or Eddie Murphy. I just want enough people to see me. And it's the same thing I always said in job interviews. If I'm able to get in the interview, I'm gonna get the job. So if I'm able to be seen in whatever stage I go to, if I'm able to get on stage, they gonna feel me. Cause because I'm gonna bring it. I don't have no ceiling. I don't want a ceiling really. I want to just keep elevating. We got a lot of good comics, great comics out here. It's divided because you do have the white hipster, and then you have the black urban, and I kind of dibble and dab with both to a certain extent. I want to be able to make anybody laugh with any color. At the end of the day, wherever you go, you still got to bring the funny, and it's still about who sees you and stuff like that. So the scene is good. It's good for me. I don't want no more comments. I don't want nobody. I'm tired of people running up. I'm tired of people inboxing me on Facebook saying that they want to do comedy. I'm tired of you calling me up, asking me, hey, my boyfriend, my baby daddy want to be a comedian. How does he start? I don't know. I ain't telling you. I'm tired of it. Get it all the time. I ain't never seen so many wannabe comedians in my life. People used to want to do everything, but not comedian. Well, I never heard that before till I started doing it. Oh, I don't know if they say, well, if Ben can do it, anybody can do it. I say bring that ass to the stage. But if you suck, you gotta promise me that you'll never come back.